four principles that I'm going to tell you. That's planning, problem solving, focusing, and concentrating. And that's right before you get to the table and have all your mechanics down. That's the number one thing. You have to work on your mechanics before anything. And you can't rush it. You got to take your time and make sure your mechanics are strong. It's going to last whenever you're playing for hours. Because sometimes you get hooked on this game and you could be playing for hours. We were playing a few months ago, King of the Hill. I was on the table for 3.5 hours. I didn't take a break. I was mentally exhausted. And I finally lost the game after 3.5 hours, but I was mentally exhausted. I should have taken breaks, but I didn't. But my mechanics started breaking down, and I started noticing all these things that I'm explaining to you were failing because I didn't take breaks. That's a major thing. You got to take breaks. But I applied these principles into another sport, which was bowling. When I started bowling, I averaged 150. And then I went from 150. I think there's a video that shows my progress that I made, but I was working on my mechanics. Each month, I was working on specific things I was doing to make sure it was rock solid for those long days. If you're going to play pool, be prepared for long days. And I think the biggest thing is you definitely have to work on your mental game before you get to the table. Let's say you're new, you're like, oh man, that's a horrible cut. You can't crap all over yourself and expect to get good results. You gotta turn that crap off. You have years and years of crap going on that is going to come up while you're at the table, especially when you're putting pressure on yourself when you don't need to. You got to make the game fun. I wish there was more. Um, I don't know. I don't want to say more awareness about the game because it has so many great benefits for somebody who's struggling in a certain thing, and it helped them snap out of it because you have to do these four principles over and over. After, let's say you shoot a ball, now you got to plan again, you got to problem solve, you got to focus, you got to concentrate. And the next ball, start again from scratch, over and over and over and over. And that's what it does. It allows you to build a muscle that's going to apply to literally anything that you want to do. But you have to, when you get to the table, before you even get to the table, turn the stuff off that's going on in your head. If you just start with the mind, self talk, oh, this is hard, or, this, I don't want to screw up, that's not going to fly. You can't do that and expect good results. You can't. And I know there's a lot of pressure, like you're just forced to get in there and start playing. But you're gonna have to shut that stuff down. You have to practice on your mechanics again for those long days. And some places, also with a lot of activity going on. I mean, if you're playing in a bar scene, you're gonna have music. You're gonna have people walking in front of you, and that's the thing with pool. Um, you're going to have people walking next to you, like almost bumping into you. Bowling, people get mad when they walk past. They're not even walking in front of them. They're walking like two lanes down, and people go, they get mad. They're like, oh, they're in my line of sight. It's not like that in pool, man. You have to deal with that. So, like when people did that in bowling, I just black it out and just, that's why it didn't really bother me. But bowlers, they get irate when people are moving to their left and right. They expect people to stand still, and that's not realistic. Um, but this takes a lot of mental fortitude to shut down all those self-talk and all the attitude and the sound, especially when you have a lot of music playing and maybe the lighting's changing. You have to shut that crap down in order to be successful. Um, so when you want to work on your game, I would suggest to go somewhere and not play people. Go in there and work on your game. Do not go in there and expect, if someone asks you to play, say no. You have to say no. You have to learn to be like, no, I'm here for me. You have to be selfish and this is my time. I'm going to do what I need to do. I don't need you interfering because it's just going to be another distraction. You have to block out all the distractions. Um, when you go to practice, you have to go there with an open mind of you're going to miss, you're not going to be perfect. You got to take it easy on yourself. Figure out what's not working and work on that. Start from there. What's not working? Why am I missing? Am I rushing? Doing all that? You have to stay focused to figure out what the problem is. Again, you go through the 4 steps of planning, problem solving, focusing, and concentrating for each shot so that you can fix any kind of things that are holding you back, especially the stuff that's going on up here, because you can't expect, however old you are, if you get done watching whatever and that's popping up in your head or a song's popping up in your head while you're trying to shoot, you gotta just get rid of all that stuff. There can't be nothing going on in your head when you get down to shoot other than the fact that you make a decision on what you need to do and you do it without any distractions. That's the key. That's what's going to get you the fastest results, especially working on your mechanics. Apply these things no matter what happens. Like, let's just say, for example, you're leaning on it because you're going to do a lot of walking around the table, leaning, looking. You might get distracted, and then you have to refocus, bring yourself back into what am I doing? Where am I at right now on the table? Where do I need to be? Okay. And then if you're stretching and you feel like tension somewhere in your body, you got to get up off the table and redo everything. Start from the scratch. There's nothing wrong with relearning, re-educating yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Starting from scratch, with your mechanics, shot making, everything. Starting from scratch over and over and over again. And over time, if you're watching the videos that I put up there, and I'm like quickly doing that, you can't expect to do that when you're brand new or you still got crap going on while you're shooting. But over time, and I'm going to tell you a little trick to help with that is put yourself on a mental clock. Clock yourself. I got 20 seconds to make a decision and do it. And then figure out what happened in that time, or 30 seconds. If you spend more time than that to make a ball, you're doing something wrong. So you got to get up off the table again and restart over. And who cares what people think? They're morons anyway if they're going to criticize you. So you don't need to listen to them or what their thoughts are and opinions because it's a distraction and you don't need to deal with it. So you need to block out all their opinions and all the distractions and redo everything. And over time, a short period of time, I'm not talking 20 years, you're going to figure it out. You're going to figure it out in a short period of time what to do and what not to do. And you'll know when you're having a bad day and you're doing everything right, you're just going through the peaks and valleys of life. Okay. You just need to ride it out and not get in your head. I'm more about this than I am with the mechanics because if you're watching all the how-to videos and doing this and doing that, and you're still not getting the results, it's because of what's going on up here. That's just what's going on, okay? That's the problem. And just follow these steps, shut down that crap that's going on in your head and what's going on outside your body for when you're getting ready to shoot. And this is why people miss balls, because they're not doing all these forced things, and they're allowing this whatever's going on in here and whatever's going on out here to distract them. Obviously, if you watch the videos or you're watching YouTube and you're watching the pros, you see where the ball's going. They tell you, I mean, these announcers are really good. I don't understand why the pole's not getting the exposure it should be. But in the advertisement for these players out here, because they could be wearing gear that, you know, that all these other athletes, you know, are getting all these big contracts. In this sport here, you're getting, especially like a shoe, especially like a shoe, the shoe industry. You could be getting contract. You're on your feet. Um, So if you're learning all that stuff, you pretty much your brain knows what to do. It's just it's the stuff that's going on up here is the biggest thing you need to control. And once you shut that down, you'll just naturally start making balls because you'll know right where to put the cue, how to hit the cue, where how hard, and where the cue ball is going. Um, That's it for now. I hope this helped you and leave a comment.